Hello and welcome to yet another episode of How to Be a Great Player. Tonight we finish off the exploration of different types with the Protector. Now, the Protector is very similar to the Dependable and fairly similar to the Leader, except that the Protector is not interested in the grand scheme of things. They're not interested in the bigger picture. They're interested in the immediate. Now, the key words for Protector are strong and justice-orientated. Now, strong doesn't necessarily mean that you need to have a Protector who literally is physically strong and can defeat any enemy that stands against them. A Protector could be someone who is meek, but who is strong morally. So the Protector is not necessarily a physical entity. It literally could be someone protecting some noble ideals to which they are willing literally to die for. So they are very strong in their convictions. Now, this could be a Paladin, but a Paladin could be any of the other types as well. The Protector is simply somebody who focuses on a specific area and then protects that to the best of their ability. Now, the area could be the players. Characters. So the Protector could be dedicated to protecting them. And we often see this exemplified in the whole life debt type of scenarios that we use all the time in our storytelling to account for such selfless camaraderie between peers. Justice-orientated, however, gives us an additional twist to it. Justice-orientated does not necessarily mean legally orientated or orientated towards the law, but they're orientated towards justice. Now, that justice might be expressed in a very different way to what everybody else is thinking. If, for example, today we look at the sense of justice, a criminal gets sent to prison where they get taught new skills and how to be better criminals, and then they get released after a certain period of time. In the past, let's say the Roman era, the exact same criminal would simply be thrown in the arena with a sword and a spear and a shield and said, right, fight this lion, because we need entertainment and you are scum. Someone who has a sense of justice back then simply wants to give someone the opportunity to fight in combat to prove whether they are worthy or not, or at least to die honorably. On the other hand, today, there is no such sense of honor or honorability either. There is simply an impartial, theoretically impartial law. Another idea around justice is the idea that the Vikings had. If you committed a crime or if you had dishonored yourself, you simply made a small incision in your stomach and started to pull your intestines out. Those you would wrap around a stone and you would make a circular journey around that stone, slowly pulling your own entrails out until eventually you collapsed. This was seen as a form of justice. Cutting off the hand or the other hand of a would-be thief or a thief who's been caught is also a sense of justice. So dependent on your campaign and dependent on your culture that your character comes from, that justice-orientated idea could be very different to what everybody else is considering as justice. So here we have this character who's got strong convictions about a specific point, who will not bend on a specific point, and who has an emphatic duty to making sure that justice is served. If you do something good for me, I have to do something good for you. That's only just, which is the root of justice. If something is just, it means that it is fair and equitable, which is also something that would fall into this Protector type. So the Protector type, when adventuring with a party, is probably one of the more difficult types to play because although it seems fairly straightforward, you just want to protect the party, you need to make sure that the party is also protected against itself. So whilst you have the ambassador trying to swing arguments in either direction, or the dependable who's just going to follow whatever the leader says, or the solver who's presenting 15 different options, the Protector is the one who's looking at all of them going, well, I don't think that is safe, that is not just, that is totally unjustifiable, and that is probably the course of action we should take, and I am not going to accept anything else. So the Protector works very well with the ambassador, who frequently will have to try and place things into a different frame of light for the Protector to be able to accept it as a just course of action. This doesn't mean that the Protector is always going to be at loggerheads with the party. It just sometimes means that the Protector needs to find something that they can find just within the direction that the party is going in. And if not, to raise it and say to the party, this is something that we need to re-examine. This brings to close all of the different types that you can play, except for the Loner, and Leader we've covered in a different module. So I hope this has been helpful in giving you some options that you could explore in your next character, or that you could add to your existing character if certain traits have already been expressed by your character. To me, the idea of the types is merely as a guide for you as a player to create something that is not naturally you. You might be the dependable type in your social group, but for once you are going to be the soul. Or perhaps in the group you are already the soul, and so now you can play someone who is dependable, or who is a solver, perhaps, and who's more focused on the task. It simply gives us a guideline, and it also gives us a platform from which to springboard new interpretations of the same keywords. One Protector might be strong in faith, the other Protector might be strong in body, and seek justice through physical means, whereas the other seeks it through spiritual means, or through legal means. So there are many ways of interpreting the different keywords that sit with each of the types. Keep your comments coming and let us know if there's any topics that you'd like. Head on over to www.greatgamemaster.com to list the topics that you would like to see us discuss on this channel, and to vote for topics that you'd like to see discussed next week or next week after that. So there are a lot of options on the website. Go and have a look at them. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't joined us already, and until next time, I wish you the very happiest of playing.